Uh, but anyway, so what are we gonna do today? Um, these are, man, these is getting me hype, you know? Let's see what we got. Turn the last song you listened to into a story. I don't want to do that. No, that's depressing. I want to do something fun this time. You know, there was a little bit of fun in day one, but I want to have more fun on this one. Just because the first one was so light, you know? Write about someone you admire. I look like a security guard with a hat on. Write about someone you admire. I don't admire none of you niggas. Y'all niggas is trash, bro. Nah, let's do that one. Write about someone you admire. I admire a lot of people when you pick someone. Straight off the top. Me, nah. Write about someone you admire. I'm not gonna pick a girl because then it'll feel too romantic. Because whenever I fucking talk about a girl, y'all niggas think I'm flirting. Look at me, I'm sweaty. I'm gonna write about my nigga Nick the Quick. Nah, I don't wanna do this one. Let's see. This one says, the whales grew feet. Let's jump right into it. Let me see. The whales grew feet. The whales grew feet. I'm mostly gonna add that they could breathe because I want them to come out of the water. Oh, let me see if I can do this. Hold on, let me see. So we're gonna do it like this. Creative writing. For most of the time that I spend in my head, I thought a lot about my fears. I thought about the fear of speaking to a woman. I thought about the fear of dying. But I never really had that much of a fear of dying. It was more of a fear of suffering. I thought about the idea that someday someone I love will consider me someone not worth loving. And I also thought about the ocean. Now, I don't know what it is about the ocean or big bodies of water that I've always been afraid of, especially at night, especially in the silence, when the only thing you can hear is the waves. And sometimes, maybe even the buoys out in the distance. That fucking scares the shit out of me. So, I always pictured me being somewhat of a hero to myself and challenging those fears. And maybe spend a night at the beach alone. So I did. So I went to the beach and I packed an extra pair of pants. And I kept a notebook with me. I don't really know why I picked the notebook. I just grabbed it as I left the house. And I figured it would get cold because it's like March. And I don't live too far away from the beach, so I just hopped on a train and got out at the first beach that I could get, that I remember going to as a kid. And this beach wasn't just a beach, it also had an amusement park attached to it. So I traveled through the amusement park, which is pretty empty at this time of year. Not as empty, not empty, but emptier than I remember it. I had no intention of taking any rides because I was here with a purpose that was in control of my thoughts. And as the sun spun lower into the horizon, I started realizing that my time was running out. No, I don't like that, but I'm not editing, I'm going off the top. I started realizing that my time was nearing. And so I took my sneakers off. I don't know why I wore sneakers. But I don't really own a pair of flip-flops. I used to have a pair of Birkenstocks, but where are those pair of Birkenstocks? I took my shoes off, and I took my socks off because I remember when I was a child. I haven't gone to a beach in years. When I was a child, I used to fucking hate the feeling of socks in my sand. Sand in my socks. And as the wood floor on the boardwalk of the amusement park started getting covered in more and more sand, I realized that there was really no turning back. Otherwise, I'd regret it forever. That's such a terrible line. I walked onto this sand that was much colder than I remember as a child. But then again, it was night. But then again, at this point, the sun was holding on to the horizon as if it was hanging off a cliff and begging for help. But I was begging it for help. I walked as near to the ocean as I could tolerate. And even more empty than the amusement park was the beach. I sat down, and without even having anything to write, I opened my notebook. The more the sun left, the more the sun loosened its grip and started to fall to its death. I'm gonna make a shitty metaphor right now. Fall to its death like Mufasa. The more people began leaving the beach. And I'm pretty sure they were about to close. But I was so close to the ocean that I was so close to the water that I don't think they noticed. The emptier the beach got, the more terrified I was. But by the time that no one was on the beach, I was comfortable. And I'd filled up a page with I don't even know what. Free thoughts, gibberish, describing some woman, creating a story for her for a second, for a sentence. And before I got tired and decided to lay down, which probably made it even more hard, even more difficult for you to see me if you were closing the beach. I actually got a lot more tired at this point. But I knew I had to stay awake. And I was starting to drift in and out of sleep There were shards of glass. I stretched my fingers out toward the water and felt it wash over my fingers. I stretched my arms out I stretched my arms out toward the water and felt the waves interlocked with my fingers, as if it was holding my hand. Sometimes I'd wake up. Sometimes my eyes would open and I'd only see water. And then sometimes they wouldn't open at all. The water was cold, but it was also warm. And sometimes a breeze would wake me up. And at one point, a breeze did. But this time, I didn't just see the ocean. This time, I saw lips. Lips that spread way wider than my arms. Much wider than my arms. Lips that spread much wider than my body. Lips that felt like they spread much wider than the beach. But they were getting closer. And they started opening. They started spreading apart. Split apart. What do lips do? Split? They started opening. And I realized that these lips had a throat. These lips had teeth. Those teeth were in front of a tongue, and that tongue had a throat. And that throat was getting closer. So I stood up quickly and realized I wasn't asleep. I don't know why I decided to take this literally, but fuck it. I mean, it's kind of not literal, but it is literal. I'm gonna end the story there, actually, because I'm not about to write no fucking horror story. I got really calm in this video, just because I was traversing through my mind. But yeah, this is kind of what this shit is about. So yeah, maybe I will do a second video, you know what I mean? Just because, like, I missed yesterday. Yeah, maybe. But I'll do that later on, if I feel like it. And I'm gonna change. So I'll see you bitches later.